All right. So everybody doing okay on a Wednesday? Okay. Well, it seems really strange not having students here at school during the week, but we're we're muddling through best we can. So anyway, just know that we appreciate you guys and you're missed when you're not here, but we're making the best of our situation, and so hopefully it won't always be like this, and hopefully we'll be back to normal pretty soon. Okay. All right. Well, how did everybody do on our um, breakfast food? Did y'all get through the work that was in the section on the dairy products and then on breakfast? You guys do okay?
Yep, I got through it.
Got it all done?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good. Well, you guys had looked like you were having a good time making hash and then making French toast. So I hope you had a good time with that.
I didn't make French toast.
Well, I saw that in the sub report that she had you do a hamburger, and I'm sorry about that, Emily. I left instructions for you to make French toast, and then she did not do that. So I am sorry that that happened, but I'm sure you probably have had the French toast experience at some point, so you can maybe relate it to that. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to start talking about nutrition now, and so that'll be the next section on Moodle that you'll go to is nutrition. And I don't know if you guys have tried to get on there yet. I need to go through it and make sure that everybody's had that particular unit added. Making myself a note so I don't forget to do that. So, but as soon as that's added, you can jump on that. There's two sections in this unit. The first one is just all about nutrition, and then the second one is about making recipes and menus more nutritious. And when you think about it, as culinarians, you know, we can affect a lot of people by the kind of food that we serve and the way that we prepare it. And so things that are, you know, considered fairly unhealthy, are there some healthy ways that we could possibly prepare that food that would make it more healthful? What do you think, guys?
I think we could do it.
Okay, so what about, let's just throw French fries out there for a minute. You know, what are some things that we could do to make French fries more healthy?
Probably the oil they cook it in.
Okay, so choose a more healthful type of oil. Is that what you mean, Anthony?
Yes.
Okay, we could. What about, could we look at our process and the way that we're cooking it?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe instead of frying, could we do another type of cooking technique?
Is there like air frying too? You can try.
Definitely, yeah, air frying. That's kind of a relatively new bit of technology that is available to us in the kitchen, right? So we could air fry it. We could, or we could even bake them. Do you guys ever bake French fries at home? You ever done that before, just on like a sheet pan?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. So there's a few ways. You know, French fries on their own just aren't particularly healthy, but there are some things that we can do that could possibly make them a little better choice. You know what I'm saying? And so, and even some substitutions, like maybe instead of French fries, maybe we could substitute carrot sticks. I don't know. I mean, or apple slices. I mean, we see that a lot with our fast food situations where they just eliminate that particular food altogether and give you another choice. And so those are some things that we, you know, as culinarians could be thinking about. Okay, so anyway, I've got a slideshow for you guys today, and I'm going to share my screen right here. There we go. All right, so this one's called the ABCs of Nutrition. And so this is just a basic overview of human nutrition and how the food that we eat affects our body. And the reason why we want to know this stuff is so that we can know the kinds of food that are going to be the healthiest food for, you know, to cook for the people that we're cooking for, whether it's our family or the people that visit our food service establishment, whether that's a restaurant or if we're working in a hospital or a nursing home or whatever that is. It is the basis of our food knowledge and how we can create meals that are tasty but have some health benefit as well. Okay, so here we go. Okay, would anybody like to guess what the definition of food is? Seems pretty simple, doesn't it? But what do you think it is, Anthony?
Sort of a nourishment where you get nutrients from.
Yeah, good, Anthony. Anybody else?
Any substance that can be consumed without, well, any substance that can provide nourishments and proteins.
Yeah, right on. Okay, so it is, and it's food is energy. Food is what we take in to give energy. Think about what happens if you miss breakfast and lunch in a day. How do you feel by late afternoon, Emily?
Sick.
That's right. So if you don't eat breakfast and you don't eat lunch, it means you're not taking in any energy. And our bodies, you know, are kind of similar to a car in that fashion. If you don't put gas in the tank, then you're not going to go very far, right? So it's a lot that's pretty similar. Okay. So food is nutritive material taken into the body to create energy. Okay, so what can you think of some things that food does for our body, guys?
Gives us energy.
Yes.
It strengthens our bones, gives us healthier skin and teeth and other
Okay.
parts of the
Yeah.
body.
Right on, Jaden. So that has to do probably with the minerals that are in the food, right? Like you said, bones, and that would have to do with calcium, right?
Yep.
Yeah, right on. Okay. So you're exactly right. So one is we get those nutrients that give us energy. So yep. Okay. And so here's a really good definition of a nutrient. Okay. Right here, a nutrient is a chemical substance that contributes to the proper functioning of a body. And so that good food that we're putting in there, it not only is giving us energy, but it's also helping us do things like regenerate cells that are turning over, or helping us repair from an injury that we've suffered, or it is giving, like Jaden said, calcium to our bones or teeth, or it is it's contributing in some way, hopefully, to keeping our body running like it's supposed to. Okay. All right, so with that energy that we get from food gives us what we need to be able to do what we need to do. Okay, so it's important that we get the right kind of food so that we are running at peak condition. Okay, so there's nutrients that the body needs, okay? And the reason why we need them, that first thing we just talked about, was because we need energy, okay? And then we also said to build and repair cells. And the other reason is that there's all those different systems that are going on in our body. We're breathing and our heart's beating and our food is digesting and we're making red blood cells and white blood cells, and all of that stuff that's going on in our body has a great deal to do with the stuff that we're putting in our body. Okay, and so all of those healthy foods that we're feeding it help it to run as it should. Okay, so here's a little interesting tidbit. So we talked about food, and food is energy, right? If we wanted to measure how much energy food had, or a particular kind of food, we measure that in something called calories. So if you, I don't know, Jaden, if you pick up a Snicker bar, what's usually on the back of the package of the Snicker bar?
Ingredients involved in it and all the calories that each of the ingredients give.
Okay, yeah. So the nutrition facts, right? And it has somewhere on there, it has the calories that Snicker bar has in it. Now, not all calories are created equal. Let me just say that, and we'll talk about that here in just a minute. But those calories are measured in forms of the energy that they give. So, for instance, carbohydrate, you probably heard that word before, haven't you? Carbohydrate.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, and so those are things like potatoes and rice and pasta, things that have a sugary type base to them would also be considered carbohydrate. Okay, and so there's one gram of carbohydrate equals 4 calories. Okay, protein are things that usually either come from animals or are animals. So it might be dairy products or it might be meat itself. Okay, but a gram of protein equals 4 calories. Okay, a gram of fat, and we know that fat usually comes from animal products, although sometimes things like an avocado, it has some fat in it, but fat is 9 calories per gram, so it's got more calories. Okay, and really when we say calorie, what we're really saying is kilocalorie, and that's we've just shortened it, but there's a definition. It's really scientific whenever we're saying calorie, and we've abbreviated it to kilocalorie. And here's the definition, which I think is interesting. So if you are in a lab and you are trying to measure heat, you might measure it this way. A kilocalorie is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 kilogram of water 1 degree Celsius. Okay, so it's actually a unit of heat. Okay, so anyway, so that is burning up what it would take to burn up those calories. Okay, so there's 6 groups of nutrients, and these are kind of important, and we'll break these down here a little bit further. There's carbohydrates, there's fats, proteins, vitamins, minerals, and water. So those are our 6 groups of nutrients, and we're going to talk about each one of those individually, okay? So these are all the things that our body needs to be able to run like it should and to keep us healthy. Okay, so now there's some nutrients that we need a much bigger quantity than we do than others. Okay, and that's going to be carbohydrates and fats. Also, excuse me, on that list is proteins and water. Okay, and those are what we call macronutrients, and macro means big, or that we need a lot more of them. Okay, the other one that we're going to talk about today, well, one of the 6 that we're going to talk about today is called carbohydrates. And you can remember that as anything without a mother, pretty much. Okay, so it's usually plant-based, sugar, starch, and fiber, and those are the main kinds of carbohydrates that we eat. So carbohydrates might turn up in that candy bar we were talking about, or in the Frosted Flakes. So sometimes we'll call sugary drinks, we'll call those empty carbs, like a soda pop or something like that. Things that are starchy would be like potatoes and rice, for instance. They're really good fillers because they fill up our bellies. But if we don't burn those, or if we get too much of them, our body stores those things, and it's not just real healthy. But we do get some fiber from these things, and so those things like pasta, that are slower burn than just straight sugar, are much better for us to consider. Sorry about that, guys, getting choked. All right, there's 2 types of carbs, okay? There's the simple carbs and there's the complex carbs. The simple carbs, your body can digest really quickly. Things like fruits and vegetables and milk, our body can get to those sugars really quickly and use them, excuse me, for some quick energy. The complex carbohydrates take a while for your body to break down, and so they give you like that, just that steady, excuse me, flow of carbohydrates. So they would be things that would have a little bit more fiber and would help you feel fuller longer, and they would also help to regulate your blood sugar so that you didn't have those peaks and valleys. Excuse me, which is a much more helpful situation. Sorry, guys, got the seasonal allergies. Next thing we're going to talk about is glucose, and that is sugar.
Have you got checked for COVID?
What, honey?
Have you gotten checked for COVID?
Yeah, I just have allergies, but thank you. Yeah, it's just ragweed. There's a lot of it in the air right now, okay? Yeah. All right, so here's glucose. Okay, and glucose is sugar, okay, really simple sugar, and our body converts that sugar, and that is what our brain and our central nervous system run on, okay? And sometimes people that have trouble regulating their blood glucose, we're really concerned about, they are what we call diabetic, and they have trouble and have to watch their sugar intake and monitor what it is that they're eating so that they don't get peaks and valleys in their blood sugar. And it's rough and it's really hard to deal with. Okay, so but glucose is the way our body converts this energy that we're eating into sugar that feeds our brain and our nervous system. Okay, the hormone insulin, okay, that is excuse me, the digestion process, and without it, it cannot happen. Digestion can't happen. So that is regulated in the liver, and people that have trouble with this, again, have trouble generally are diabetic and usually have to have some type of treatment, whether it's they take treatment for insulin, or they might monitor that through diet. Sorry, guys. But however they do it, it is something that they can be really detrimental to their health. So they really have to watch their blood sugar. All right, fiber. Okay, who can name some foods that fiber comes from?
The cereal one?
Miss, have you tried drinking warm tea with honey in it?
Cereal is one, and what did you say, Emily?
I said, have you tried drinking hot tea with honey in it?
Oh, well, you know, that probably would really help my cough. So thank you for thinking of that. And I think I've got some tea here, so I could fix myself some of that. So thank you.
You're
Okay. So high fiber foods are things like Anthony said, that are usually cereal, like bran. That you might also see things like beans and different kinds of legumes that would be high in fiber. Sometimes you'll see bread that'll be referred to as whole grain, and so those will have a little bit more fiber. And even lots of veggies that have also fiber. We're beginning to learn now about the long-term health benefits of fiber. I was just looking at watching the news a couple of days ago, and you know, the actor that played Black Panther. Did you guys see that he had passed away?
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they said that he had colon cancer, and you know, it is you know, he was such a young person and had such a brilliant career, and it was so sad. But we're learning, you know, his passing has really shed some light on health benefits and what could possibly be done to help stop this type of condition and of colon cancer. And one of the research discoveries that we're finding is that fiber is a huge benefit to people. And here in the United States, you know, we just don't eat that much fiber. We eat probably half or even a third of the amount of fiber that we really need. And so those things help with digestion, and they help to contribute to a healthy gut, and that is something that could really benefit a great number of people. But anyway, here's some high fiber foods over here on the left. Okay, and there's also lots of great supplements too. If those aren't your favorite foods, there's lots of things that you can add to your diet supplement wise that can increase your fiber intake. Okay, and there's two kinds of fiber, which we're going to talk about next. There's soluble, and insoluble. Okay, and the soluble fibers are fairly digestible, and the insoluble fiber we really don't digest, but it generally comes from a plant. Okay, here's fat. So fat can be either fat that is solid, or it could be oil, so it could refer to both. Okay, but technically speaking, fats are solid at a room temperature. So when you think about like Crisco, for instance, it's solid at a room temperature, isn't it? But things like vegetable oil, they are a liquid at room temperature. Okay, And there's some also some differences, but fats, generally speaking, are going to come from animals, and oils from plants. Sorry. All right, so our body needs fat. Because it has essential fatty acids, so which is important for skin and healthy cells and some other body functions. Okay, and fats carry vitamins with them, vitamins A, D, E, and K. Okay, 3 types of fatty acids right here. And there's some debate going on right now about these saturated fats up here. And a lot of dietary experts and nutrition experts right now are really saying that coconut oil is a very healthy oil to add to your diet. But it is in that classified as that saturated fat. Monounsaturated fats would be our liquid vegetable oils, like olive oil, which has been around a very long time and is considered to be healthy. But canola oil over here has received some scrutiny lately. Canola, you know, we are one of the few countries in the world that actually uses canola oil for food consumption. Most other countries use it as a machine oil. And so canola actually grows in a field. It's kind of a yellow color, and they're just fields and fields of it. But it could be that the way that we are using it may not be very helpful for our population. Okay, and then down here under polyunsaturated, there's also, we brought into question the benefits of the safflower oil and also some soybean oil. So there's all kinds of controversies out there. On your Moodle this time I put, there's some discussion about butter versus margarine. And there's some interesting information on there about what a healthy diet would look like. So I'd encourage you to get on there and look at those few things. There are a couple of doctors. You guys know Dr. Oz, don't you, from TV? Do you ever watch him?
I heard about him.
Yeah, he's kind of an interesting fellow. And then there's another guy named Dr. Mark Hyman, who is a researchist and a wonderful doctor that works at the Cleveland Clinic that is very brilliant. All right, cholesterol. Have you ever heard anybody talk about cholesterol? People that are trying to be heart healthy may be really concerned about their blood cholesterol. Okay, and it's kind of a white waxy substance that is in our blood, and it helps it carry things around in our body. But our problem is that if we eat too much food that is not good for us, it starts to build up in our veins and can cause blockages, which could eventually lead to heart attack, which is not good. And so our bodies actually make all of the cholesterol that we need, so we do not need to supplement it, but I think a great many of us supplement it a great deal. And so it's something that we're very concerned about. And cholesterol comes from animal products, so that would be things like dairy products and, of course, meats. Okay, so whenever we make, see Crisco, Crisco is a solid, right? And remember I told you that vegetable oil was a liquid at room temperature. So in order to get this Crisco to set up, what we had to do was alter it chemically. And so what we do actually is they've been heating it, and then they will spin it at a high speed and temperature, and the chemical reaction happens, and it becomes a solid at room temperature. The only problem with that is it leaves behind something called trans fat. And we are beginning to believe that trans fats are very detrimental to our health. There's actually, the USDA has come out with new guidelines, and now as of 2020, I think January 1st, 2020, the trans fats are not allowed in things like butter, or rather margarine. But I don't know how it's regulated in other products. So it'd be interesting to do some reading on that and find out that hydrogenated fats are a man-made result from something that we're doing to a vegetable oil. Okay. Anyway, but there's on your Moodle this time, there's a couple of videos that talk about trans fat and in that margarine and butter controversy. Which is right there. So what do you think's better? Butter or margarine?
Butter.
Butter?
Always butter.
Always better? Better. Well, yeah. Well, I think butter is fabulous. And here's my take on the situation is, butter comes from cream, which comes from a cow, right? So, in margarine, I think comes from a vegetable, but we've had to do something to it to make it be a solid at room temperature. And so it's chemically altered in some way. And so, but there's some new things coming out. There's something called vegan butter, which is pretty interesting. And so there's all kinds of things, but watch those two videos because there's some new stuff that since the trans fat rule that could change your mind about butter. I mean, I'm definitely a butter fan, but I'm always up for trying new things, and if there's something that's more healthful, then let's talk about it, right? All right. These are what we would call the micronutrients, and micro means small, like microscope. Okay, so it just means we need a little bit of them. And so those are vitamins and also minerals that we need in our food. Okay, and all the vitamins, and those are things that help our processes in our body work properly, and the same deal with minerals. Okay, so there's two types of vitamins. There's the water soluble and the fat soluble. And so the water soluble we need every day. So think about you talk about a serving of vitamin C every day. And vitamin C and vitamin B also are really susceptible to heat. And so if you're heating those things or cooking them or steaming them, you are actually going to steam away or cook away the health benefits of those kind of things. So we want to serve those types of foods uncooked or in their raw state. The fat soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K, we actually store those in our body usually in fat. And then whenever we need them, our body draws on those. And so those actually are stored. Here's protein. Okay, so protein, we need protein, which is usually animal products. Okay, but it also is things that have like beans and things like that have some protein. But these are what we need to help build new cells, help repair injured ones, and help us if we're still growing. Okay, and so a great bit of our body is protein. Okay. And proteins themselves are made up of 22 building blocks, which we'll call amino acids. Okay. And those amino acids are what allow our bodies to use the proteins properly. Okay. And our body from this protein can make 13 amino acids. Okay. But the others we have to take in some, the other 9 have to come from food. Okay. And so, foods that are complete proteins are going to be things like meat and poultry and eggs and dairy products. Those have all 22 amino acids and in the right amount, so our body can use them as is. Okay. The incomplete proteins, they lack some of those amino acids that we need for them to be complete. So things like rice, okay. Sometimes we'll see like beans and rice together, and together they're a complete protein, but on their own they are not. And so sometimes we'll see plants that are combined so that they are a complete protein. Okay, here's water. So you guys know you can go a long time without food, but how long do you think you can go without water, guys?
Like 3 days. I feel like 2.
I think I read 2 or 3 days. Yeah. What happens if you get dehydrated? Has anybody ever been dehydrated before?
A couple times, yeah.
How do you feel when you're dehydrated?
Drowsy, worn out, headache.
Yeah, I start getting a headache and feel pretty crummy, don't you?
Yeah, dizzy too.
And dizzy. That's right. So we have to have water. So it's really important, having a good source for water and access to clean water. So think about, there's lots of parts in the world that really are desperate for clean water or even just access to water. And so we're pretty fortunate here that we have access, and then we have clean water that we can consume. All right, so what kind of nutrients do you think we'd find in a grapefruit?
Vitamin.
Yeah, what kind of vitamin, Anthony?
Grapefruit. Is that a citrus? So is that like vitamin C?
Right on. Exactly right. Good old vitamin C. What about chicken?
Proteins.
Protein. That's right, Jaden. What about bread?
Fiber.
Yeah, fiber. And there's one more that we might benefit from there too.
Is it carbohydrates, or was it
You got it, Anthony. That's right. Very good. What about dairy products?
proteins one?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the other word. Was it? Did I just said it?
Calcium.
Calcium. Yeah, excellent. Very good. Very, very good. What about spinach?
Fiber.
Yep. There's lots of fiber. There's some vitamins in spinach also. So there's even calcium in spinach. So it's a pretty good all around food. What do you think we're getting from beans?
Protein.
Mm-hmm. Right on. And also fiber, right? And then we've got carrots. So what do you think carrots how would we benefit from carrots?
Isn't there vitamins in carrots?
Mm-hmm. Right on. Yeah, excellent. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing for a minute. Okay, so well, that was some good stuff then. So you guys know a lot about nutrition. Have you been studying about it at your sending school?
Just a little bit.
hmm Did you guys look at the myplate.gov?
I remember I remember we always talked about like the pyramid thing,
hmm
about like that, and they show like foods that go in that part of the pyramid, like
Yes.
protein stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, there's some different kinds of food pyramids now, and then that my plate shows you, kind of what healthy serving sizes look like, and what kinds of food would be healthy. So I put on your Moodle this time. There's a whole bunch of stuff about food and healthy eating. There's a Mediterranean diet pyramid that's in one of the slideshows that is pretty interesting. And if you go out and look on the internet, there's even like a vegetarian pyramid, and there's all kinds of, depending on whatever your food belief is, there's all kinds of pyramids that help you make that be the most healthful version. And it's interesting to look at those. I do like the Mediterranean version. If you look at it, it does seem like it would be pretty helpful, but it's the slideshow is on your Moodle if you want to look at it. And there's also, I'm gonna have you do something I think you'll like. Have you guys ever seen Super Size Me?
Yeah, I had to watch it twice.
Yeah, the video. So some of you guys, if you've already seen it and you know what it is, look, I had some questions on there, so if you've already seen the video, I don't want to make you watch it again, but there are some questions that I want you to think about and answer those questions with regard to that video. Morgan Spurlock has also made a second video. Have you guys heard of it?
I don't think so.
It's called Super Size Me 2, and it's Holy Chicken is what it's called. And it's his, he goes, in the first one he talks about fast food and how, where everything is supersized and how unhealthy all of that is. And then in this one, he talks about how we are conditioned to believe something is more healthy by marketing strategies, like sometimes it'll say all natural or free range or no antibiotics, or they'll paint it the color green, or it's just the marketing ploy, which doesn't really mean a thing. And it's not any different than any other product. It's just the way that they marketed it. So, but that's what the second one's about. So if you've already seen the first one, I didn't put the link on YouTube to it, but it's on YouTube. If you want to watch it, you might find it interesting. Of course, Anthony, I hope you, when you watch those, know that Morgan can be a little profane. So just excuse his lack of decorum, and if you can overlook those outbursts, that'd be a good thing. But he does have I think a message that we do need to hear about understanding our food and what's in our food and how to make good decisions about the food that we eat. So anyway, but that's what's on your Moodle for this week. So there's a vocab and a couple of questions, and then that video. So anyway, that's about all I've got for you today. And a couple of little housekeeping things I did want to remind you about. If you got an email from Mrs. Hampton about joining NTHS, that's the National Technical Honor Society. And if you haven't looked at that yet, like I said, it'll be in your NT email. And I would encourage you to sign up for that. If you have a 3.5 grade point, 3.5 grade point or better, then you would be eligible to join. It's a minimal cost. looks really great on a resume if you can say you're a member of the National Technical Honor Society. So she does have the application that's in that email. If you want a hard copy of that, I'll have some for you on your next at school day that I'm happy to give to you. So be thinking about that. The other thing is attendance, and we've had to kind of change how we're doing things lately. And so since you're only here in person on 2 days, those 2 days really have to count. And so we've had to change the number of days that you can miss per semester. And so we're only able to let you miss 4 days per semester. And so if you missed more than 4, I do have some makeup sheets. If you can come, either stay all day on your designated day, or if you can come to the other sections, we might be able to get your days made up. But just know that we need to be really careful with those 4 days per semester so we don't go over those. So if you're worried about that, if you'll let me know, I will do my best to get that information to you and help you schedule some time when you can make up those days. Okay. And then also remember this coming Monday, the 7th, is as a holiday. And so we will not be having school on Monday. So whether you are here in person on Monday or you are Zooming with Mrs. Ferranti, whichever the case may be, we will not be doing that on Monday. So if you have either one of those things scheduled for Monday, you're off the hook for that amount of time. Okay. All right. Anybody got any questions or things they want to talk about?
I do.
Okay. What's going on, Anthony?
Because you were talking about Supersize Me. Do you remember the guy that ate just McDonald's? Not just McDonald's. What was it? Like that Big Mac? Yeah, he beat the world record.
Yeah. Yeah. The guy with the glasses.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I got the Ripley's Believe It or Not book, and he's in it.
Really? Because of that?
Yeah. I thought it was pretty funny.
That's funny. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. Well,
I've been to Ripley's, believe it or not.
you have been?
Yeah, me and Mikey went when we went on